Excellent. Right. Okay, everyone, back to Lecha Dodi. Sorry about that little delay, which is due to technical issues. We are up to Lo Tevoshi Velo Tikalmi. Who is going to, without looking in the English, who is going to tell me what this means?
Do not
Johnny,
change.
before we do that, can I
Yeah.
just say we glossed over Ori Ori. Where I come from, when it gets to Ori Ori, we don't sing it, you're supposed to shout it. You ever heard that?
Okay. I've never heard that, but it makes sense. Anybody else
Yeah,
heard that?
wake up, wake up, wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uri means wake up, wake up. So
Yeah.
I've never, anybody else seen that where they shout it out? No.
Yeah.
Looks like you're on your
Yeah.
own, Jackie.
Okay, well,
No,
that's
no,
English.
no, no. Yeah, we do it also. We
You do
do
it
it at the
also?
Torbach Davening, yeah.
Probably also.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, it certainly, it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes
Sorry,
sense.
okay. And I mean, hug I have, that's all.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, but it's fine. At least it makes sense. I mean, if you were shouting it out and it was to say, saying go to sleep, it wouldn't make sense. So at least it makes sense. Right.
Okay.
Lo tevoshi.
Do not change.
Do not be ashamed. Yeah, not shame me. Do not be. It's. Remember, we're talking. It's feminine.
Okay.
Lo tevoshi. Do not be ashamed. Velo tikalmi.
And do not
Don't be misunderstood.
A bit more than that. It's another word for ashamed, really. Humiliated.
humiliate. That's the word.
Do we not say that word in benching? Lo nikalem leolam va'ed.
Yeah.
Same word. Nikalem. Likalem means to be humiliated.
Be not abashed.
Be not abashed.
Confounded.
Unconfounded. What age? What? Yeah. What year is that? Lionel hasn't got his 1851
Sorry, no.
one. He's not here.
1917.
1917 is a bit more old-fashioned. Don't be confounded.
Still say don't be confounded.
Don't be
Don't be
confounded.
ashamed.
Don't be ashamed. Don't be confounded. I've got the art scroll. Don't be ashamed. Do not feel humiliated. So what's happening here is that there is a change going on in the language, because previously we've been talking about Yerushalayim being needing to be rebuilt. It's been rather sort of exile-like language. Here it changes. There's a change in the language here. Do not feel ashamed. Do not feel humiliated. Ma tishtochachi. What does that mean? Lihishtocheach. What does that mean?
Why are you miserable?
Yeah. Do not be miserable or do not be depressed.
Why should you be miserable?
Yeah. Why are you depressed?
Yeah.
Or my translation says, why are you downcast?
Yeah.
What have you got, Jeff?
Downcast.
Downcast. Why are you downcast? Uma tehemi. Tehemi.
Got all this. I used to know it.
Tehemi means being another word for being miserable, really.
Disquieted.
Disquieted, says Paul. I've got disconsolate. Anyway, it means
Disconfabulated.
That's like, isn't it?
what?
Mourning.
Disconfabulated.
Yeah, why are you mourning? Is that what you've got?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's a different one. That implies you have something to be mourning.
So it's miserable anyway. Why are you miserable? Why are you downcast? Bach. Go on, Bach. What's that mean?
In you.
In you, yechesu aniye ami. Forget yechesu for a minute. Aniye
The
ami.
poor of my people
The poor people of my nation,
will find protection.
yechesu, will find protection or shelter. Yeah. So this. Let's do the last line of the verse, and then you'll know exactly what it's talking about. V'nivnata,
And
it's
she'll be
future
built.
tense.
Yeah, and it will be built.
Yeah, and she will be rebuilt. Yeah, in the feminine tense. What are we talking about? What will be rebuilt?
Yerushalayim.
Ir. Next word. Ir. The
Tila.
city. Al
Yerushalayim.
Tila. What's Tila?
No,
Yes,
ruin.
tell.
On her
It's a
ruin.
feminine of the tell.
Yeah, on her ruin.
On her, yeah, on her
On her,
hilltop.
till is
Tell
like
is a
not a
hill, but
mountain. It's a
specifically,
hill.
specific
Har
for,
Maria. It's Har Maria.
yeah, Philip is right that it's this a tell in this context is specifically a hill, which is a ruin,
Yeah.
right? You know, tell everything is a ruin. Yes, Warren.
It says rebuild spiritual, not necessarily. If you like the concrete, it's the spiritual side of it.
So what is that in the footnote or in the actual translation? Ah, okay. So we'll come to the footnote in a minute. Let's just do the simple pshat first, and then we'll come to the footnote. So what have we said in this verse? Let's just read it through quickly, and then
Don't be depressed.
don't be
because you're gonna
depressed.
rebuilt, because
Don't
you're
no,
going to be
whoa, no,
built.
no, whoa, whoa,
Going to be
stop,
rebuilt
stop,
on the
stop,
hill.
shh, stop. Not before you're depressed. Don't be ashamed. Don't be humiliated. Why are you depressed? Why are you downcast? In you, Hashem, the afflicted of my people will find shelter, and the city will be rebuilt on its previous
Ruins.
previous site. Yes.
Yeah.
So what have we said there? That is a complete change into a language
Prophecy.
of hope,
Positivity.
of positivity. Yeah.
We're talking to God now.
The first part, God is talking to us. Don't be ashamed. Don't be humiliated. Why are you downcast? The city's going to be rebuilt. It's all going to be good. It's all going to work out for the best. So remember we asked a question some time ago. Why do we switch tunes at this point? Many people, we don't, as it so happens here, but in many places they
We do.
switch.
We do.
Yeah, they switch it. They switch
I
tunes
was-
at this stage.
I was taught because the people are so looking forward to Shabbos, they make it a quicker tune to get Shabbos in quicker.
You just want to get home quicker to have your chopped liver. Go on, Frank. Frank's pulling a face.
No, I think it's a relatively modern thing to change the tune.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
Really?
Yeah, apparently not. It's to do with the language that
Yeah, it
it's
does.
now
it does
the
show-
language of
it
hope.
shows hope. Yeah.
And therefore, what generally speaking is that the tune jumps into a more
It does, yes.
jolly or more,
Major, like a major key from a
I don't
minor.
know, major, minor. I don't understand these things, but it's a more. This is what I read anyway. It's a more positive tune. That's that. I mean, it depends
More
what tune you
upbeat.
use, but yeah. So that's the that's the idea. Is that at this point it is the idea is there's no more shame, no more shame, and the other. Oh, do me a favor. Just bring me a Tanakh, will you? You know those little blue, just up from the back of Arik's chair, where Arik sits behind there. All of these verses seem to be based on a particular book of Tanakh. Now, which book of Tanakh do you think that all of this sort of futuristic, messianic stuff is likely to come? Isaiah. You're
Isaiah.
correct. Isaiah. And this particular stanza is based on chapter 54 of Isaiah, which I will just get open here and read to you. Chapter 54. Chapter 54, there we go. Verse 4 reads as follows. Oh, look at this. Okay. You will know this. Now, if I was to read chapter 54, verse 1, you would definitely know it, but I'm not. I'm going to make it hard for you. I'm going to say verse 4, and let's see who can tell me what verse 1 begins with if I say verse 4, all right? Verse 4 says this, Al tir'i ki lo tevoshi. Al tir'i, do not be afraid. Ki lo tevoshi, because you will not be humiliated. Va'al tikolmi, and you will not be confounded, or what else did we say? Ashamed, shamed and humiliated. Kilo tachpiri, because tachpiri, I don't know what that means here. I don't know. Ki boshet alumayich tishkachi, because the shame of your world I will forget. V'cherpat almanutayich lo tizkri od, and the shame of your widowhood will no longer be remembered. Okay, now then, who knows? I will give you a clue. I'll give you a clue. It is 2 Parshiot Haftarah.
Noah.
Ronnie Akron.
Yes, very good, Jeff, and very good, Paul. It is the Haftarah of Noach, and you cheated.
Keep saying so.
Huh? You say. How did you know that?
Margaret.
Oh. Okay, well, at least Jeff was honest and owned up. Jeff's bar mitzvah parasha, Kitetse, Rani Akara, and that's why he knew. That's why he knew it. And it's also Noach. How did you know it was Noach as well?
I knew the two.
You knew there were 2 of the same. Okay, very good, excellent, very good.
Isn't it Hanukkah as well?
It's
No, it's a different.
no,
Korah.
that's Ronnie Vasimchi.
Ah,
Ronnie
sorry.
Vasimchi. Yeah.
The two Ronnies.
The 2 Ronnies. Oh, I love it. Right, so that you can see from that that verse is very clearly based on Yeshayahu 54, verse 4, which God promises the barren, abandoned city that she will no longer be ashamed. Okay, and so this stanza is the theme of consolation. Exile and humiliation will be replaced by honor and joy. Okay. And the mystical interpretation of this is what we're talking about here. Who might be ashamed? Remember, it's feminine. And what have we said all along? We've spoken about things that are feminine, which could be the subject of Lecha Dodi. We've mentioned Yerushalayim. That's the obvious pshat, simple pshat in this thing, because it's talking about the city. What other? The Shechina, correct. The other feminine that is here. And the mystical interpretation of this verse is that the Shechina has been ashamed. Why is the Shechina ashamed?
Because there's no temple.
Yeah, it's got nowhere to live. Shechina's got nowhere to live. It's got no house. But more than that, it's the children, her children, as it were, have been exiled. So the Shekhinah feels ashamed because her children are distant from God. The idea being that when Shabbat comes, we've said it before, Shabbat is called Me'ein Olam Haba. Me'ein Olam Haba, meaning that it's a taste, not of the world to come after we're dead so much, but as we've said before, the world of perfection of Mashiach, the time of Mashiach. And therefore, at that point, the Shekhinah will be reunited on Shabbat. The Shekhinah, as it were, is reunited with its people, and therefore is no longer ashamed. That's the Kabbalistic idea behind that particular stanza. The simple pshat is that we're talking about Yerushalayim, and it's the anti-exile idea, the idea that the exile will be over, our shame will be over, and according to what I've read, that is the reason why the tune changes at that point in some places. Clearly, in some places, it will change to a tune which is not uplifting, because it depends who's doing it. But that's the idea anyway. Okay, so people don't know. Yeah, probably. I mean, I didn't know. No, I didn't know why. I mean, I just knew that was the thing to do. That's what you do. Well, that's what some people do. I'm always, I've been here a long time. I'm still waiting. Every Friday night, I'm waiting for it, and then I know it's not coming. But waiting for the tune to change.
They don't
It's the same tune.
They don't know.
Yeah, but nobody changes
They
it.
don't know. They don't know. That's why.
You know why they do the same
You
tune
get
here?
overall, and the whole community.
Yeah, no, but it's the one thing that they want to keep because of the kids, because they get the kids to go up there on the bima, and the kids know that tune. So on that occasion,
That's no justification.
no, I don't agree with you, Frank. I think it's absolutely is a justification.
I think the thing is, when you're acting as the Shiur Tzibur, you're there standing there as a teacher. And you can teach them other things.
Well, maybe you can. Well, I think that.
Did you learn all the other tunes? Only because
Yeah, but when you want the kids to join in, and you want them to join in the tune that they know,
The
so
world culture today,
I think
even in the Jewish religion,
I think that's the Baal Tefilah in you,
the woke culture
overriding the parent and the grandfather
He's
in
right,
you there, Frank.
He's right.
I don't.
Look, I think
You're also a Baal Tefilah. Somebody like me who's not a Baal Tefilah. For me, it's
I
more
come
important.
from a Hasidic family, and I know that there's so much wealth.
You're not
Richness.
going to teach the kids all those ridiculous tunes
They're
that you
not
sing.
ridiculous.
They are.
This is the thing. They're
See,
not ridiculous.
You're looking at it from
I
a
think
position of
it's
knowledge.
the whole time. Carlebach, I mean, there's two Mimkom from Carlebach. The Kehillah, when I go up there and I do Mimkom, I do a more complicated.
It's dreadful.
It's not.
It's dreadful. Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. We will have to agree. We will have to. Yeah, it's worse than dreadful. We'll have to agree to disagree on that. As a non-musical person, right?
Ah, there we have it. Yes.
I fully admit it. As a non-musical person, it is important on a Friday night that there are tunes that everybody knows and that everybody can join in. People come here on a Friday night because they like the singing, because there's lots of singing goes on, and we get lots of compliments about Friday night.
It's bloody boring.
Well, it might be bloody boring to you, but most people enjoy it. So no, I'm not very good at dancing either. Oh, no, we don't. Not really. Occasionally we do. Right. Okay.
Israel.
We do, I don't.
Right. Let's move on. Next verse. Vahayu limshisa shosayir.
Something to do with socks.
Sort of. Yes, it has. How did you know that?
Because I know some Hebrew.
Okay. See if you can work out what it's got to do with socks. Or buying the socks in modern Hebrew. But that's why I'm interested to know why you said socks.
I heard the word, and I've been saying it for 80 years almost. Also, so I do know that.
Vahayu. Okay, what does it mean? Vahayu limshisa shosayir.
And when you could say maybe gird your loins.
Yeah, so Philip's been saying it for 80 years, and he thinks Vahayu limshisa shosayir means when you gird your loins. Would anybody like to give a different opinion?
All your
Yeah,
The
you have
people
no
who
idea.
are-
yes,
Right.
I-
Vahayu limshisa shosayich
The
means like
people who
this.
hurt you shall be hurt.
Yes, limshisa means to trample on. That's why I said it's something to do with socks. Yeah, that's right. It's a bit of a schlep, but vahayu limshisa, and those shosayich, those who will trample on you, limshisa, they will themselves will be trampled upon. What's your translation, Paul?
They who spoil thee shall themselves become a spoil.
Okay, those that spoiled you shall become a spoil.
Those who despoiled you.
Though who despoiled you. Talking about the Jewish people, I think. Yes, I think this is talking about the Jewish people.
So this is Hashem speaking.
Yes,
to us?
yes. Like Hashem was speaking to us in the last verse, which was, don't be ashamed, don't be humiliated. Why are you downcast? This is Hashem still speaking. He's saying it's a continuation of the previous verse. V'hayulim shisa shosayich. Those who despoiled you, those who trampled upon you, they will themselves suffer the same fate, right? V'rachaku, and they will be distanced. Who will be distanced? Kol mevalayich. Right, what's the root of that word? Hannah, come on, you're what's the root of mevalayich? Nobody, you're muted, Hannah. Yeah, we can hear you.
Those who enjoyed your
Despoiling. What's the root of mevalayich?
Levalot.
No, it's got an ayin in it.
Uh,
Bli'ah.
The
Bli'ah.
master, from the word master.
No, that would be the ayin before the lamed. Bli'ah means to swallow, swallowing.
Ah,
So kol mevalayich, all those who swallow you up or, devour you. You've got devoured? Yeah. All those that devour you or want to devour you, rachaku should be, will be
A long way
distant.
away.
Will be distant. So it's from the word bliah, which means to swallow. So this is God promising us what? That our enemies will suffer the same fate they want to do to us and will be distant from us. And then what will happen when the enemies are distant from us and they have been downtrodden and trampled on and devoured and despoiled? What will happen next? Yasis alayich Elohayich. Elohayich,
joyful.
your God, Yasis,
Will be
will
joyful.
rejoice in the future, alayich, on you. So your God will rejoice in you. So again, this is part of this same process that we're beginning at the Lotevoshi by saying it's all the bad things that have happened to the Jewish people. Remember, this was written in the Middle Ages, 16th century, after the Middle Ages, 16th century. All the bad things that have been happening to the Jewish people, expulsion from Spain and expulsion from Portugal and all the other things.
From England.
England already, yes. No, England, they were already coming back in. Yeah, they were already coming back in at this time. No, a little bit later. When all of that's done,
Came in with
when all of Oliver Cromwell, in 1600s. Yasis alayich Elohayich, your God will rejoice upon you. How will he rejoice upon you? Kimasos chatan al kala, like a chatan rejoices with his bride. And then we come full circle back to the idea of God and the Jewish people being the chatan and the kala being Shabbat, Shabbat HaMalkah. And so he's now gone, if you like, what he's done is he's started and he's done a whole circular thing. And we're coming right back to the beginning where we are having the allegory of the Jewish people and a Kodesh Baruch Hu being a Chatan and a Kala. And of course, remember, after each verse, we've got the refrain, haven't we? Lecha Dodi, go or come, my beloved. Likrat Kala, to meet the Kala, the face, the presence of the Shabbat, we shall nikabla, we shall welcome. So we've come full circle, and you could argue, couldn't you, that that's where it would end. Now, or the last verse actually should come in. What's this? I always think that this Yamin or Small that we're going to do next is sort of in the way, really. Let's just do it without Yamin or Small. Say that again.
The acronym.
The acronym.
Oh, I see. Right. I never thought of that. I never thought of that. So Frank said we need it for the acrostic for Shlomo Halevi. Of course, you're right about that. I never thought of that. But okay, thematically, let's have a look at thematically. Let's miss out the Yamin. We would go from Yasis alayich Elohayich kimsos chatan al kala to Boi b'shalom ateret ba'ala Gamba simcha v'tzala toch emuni am segola boi kala. Right, we'll do that in detail in a minute. But it follows on chatan kimsos chatan al kala, and then we go into the whole boi kala business. Yamin or Small sort of interrupts that thematically. So let's have a look and see if we can have a look and see why it would work. But just before we go on to that, let me just see if there's anything I've missed on Vahayulim Shisa. He says your plunderers will be plundered. And I've got a feeling that's also, yes, another pasuk from Yeshaya chapter 62. think that's the last chapter, isn't it? 62. No, 66 is the last chapter. Okay, so let's see what chapter 62, verse 5 says. This is in Yeshaya. Ki yiv'al bachor betula yivaluch banayich umesos chatan al kala yasis alayich Eloayich. Almost an exact
alliteration.
No, not alliteration. Exact copy of the it's just the other way around.
Yeah.
Umasos chatan al kala yasis alayich Elohayich. So again, Rav Shlomo Alkabitz knows his Tanakh. He's quoting, and of course, the people who he wrote it for will also have known their Tanakh. Not like us who have to look it up and don't know what we're doing. They will have had Tanakh at their fingertips. So when he said this pasuk, put it in his song, they would instantly have known. It would be as familiar to them as Shema Yisrael is to us, right? If you put together a song with Shema Yisrael in it, you'll all know where it's from. It's from Sefer Dvarim. You all know that. The people that he was writing this for, the rabbis and the Kabbalists in Sfat in the 16th century, will have known Yeshayahu,
off by heart.
Yeah, they would have known it by heart and at their fingertips. And this would have conjured up this whole Isaiah-like prophecy of Mashiach times. Remember, we said it before, that the favorite book of the Christians is Isaiah, because all their
prophecies,
all their Yoshka stuff is in Yeshaya, right? So it's a very messianic sort of book, and so these verses from Yeshayahu will be invoking in the listener, and it should in us, but we just don't know enough Tanakh to know it. It should be invoking the whole book of Yeshaya in our minds and the messianic times. Okay, so so we return to the poem's wedding frame. We've said that. Okay, now next one: Yamin or small?
Left and right.
No.
Right and left.
Right and left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yamin or small? Right or left? Tifrotzi.
Lifrotz. It means to
Burst out.
enter violently, but I mean it's in a good way thing.
Lifrotz.
Lifrotz
To burst out.
What did you say?
To burst out.
To burst out, yes. Pritzes. You know what pritzes is, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
Pritzes. Pritzes is a Yiddish word which means something which is improper.
Spring is bursting out all over.
Yeah, bursting. Yeah, that's pritzes. If a woman is, that's called pritzes. Okay. So lifrot means to burst out. Right. By the way, it was in last week's parasha. Okay, who's the Chabadnik round here? Hannah, I've got a feeling you're a bit of a Chabadnik, no?
Well, wasn't there an Ufaratsta there somewhere?
Yes, in last week's parasha.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, even I know that from the Bavitch Day Camp, right? Ufaratsta, and you shall spread out. This is the bracha that Yaakov got. Ufaratsta, you shall spread out.
Don't they sing it after Mincha?
They sing it all the time. And you shall spread out. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask Jeff this question, and he will know why in a minute. There is somebody whose name is connected with this. Peretz. He's also he's a Ben Peretz, aren't you, Jeff? He's Ben. You're a real Peretz. Okay, Peretz. Who is Peretz?
Ruth's father? No.
It was Ruth's ancestor. You're right about that. Yehuda's twins, who were born from Tamar. Okay, who was the other one? Peretz and Who was Peretz's twin brother?
I'm known.
Peretz, the only one that counts. Who was his twin brother?
On?
No, that's On Ben Peret.
I'm known.
Zerach.
Okay.
Now, Zerach means to shine,
Yeah.
like Hashemesh Zorachat. Yeah, Peretz and Zerach. Why was he called Peretz?
Because he
Torah
was
tells us.
Jumped out first.
The thing
Yeah,
burst out.
he jumped out first. Remember, Zerach put his arm out first, out of the uterus. They tied a red bundle on it, right? Thinking, right, this one came out first. He pulls his arm back, and Peretz says, not on your leg today, and pushed him out of the way. And Peretz jumps out first. And that's why he got called Peretz, because he burst forth. Okay? So that's the same word we've got here. Yamin or small, right and left, tifrotzi. You shall spread out. What does this mean? It means that your kingdom,
Multiply.
your either your physical kingdom or your spiritual influence on the world. Yes, it's an imperialistic verse. Will spread out right and left. I wonder whether there's any relevance to the fact it's left and right or right and left, right?
It's
So
political.
political, yeah. You could. I'm sure there'll be somebody who will put a political spin on this, left and right. But what it means is that you will burst out your influence in the world. Your glory will expand.
He's talking about Israel today.
Yes, he's talking about Israel today. Okay, now, not only will you
The only
spread
left
out.
and right, the only left and right that I can think of is that the left is again din, and the right is chesed. First, you will fight. David will fight and establish the kingdom, and then Shlomo will come along and bechesed rule the kingdom.
Correct. Yamin or small. Also, some I'm reading out of my notes here, if you can just see that. Yamin or small, left and right, right and left. Did what Philip did then. Also symbolizes mercy and judgment, male and female, all coming into balance.
Yin and yang.
Yin and yang, and Shamo v'Zachor.
But it's the political, the poetical.
Poetical. Yeah.
The license to start with the yud, because that's what.
Okay, he needed a yud. He needed a yud. Yeah, he needed. I forgot about that. Yeah. So he needed a yud. So it's all of these things. And again, in Kabbalah, what does Shabbat do in the Kabbalistic idea? It harmonizes everything. On Shabbat, everything is harmonious, right? Unless you come to our house when all the kids are there, and it's not always quite so harmonious as it should be. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. So Shabbat harmonizes everything. That's the Kabbalistic idea. Now, you may well be not surprised to know that this verse is also a quotation from Yeshayahu, chapter 54, verse 3. 54 verse 3. That should be
The verse before.
the verse before. It's part of Rani Akara. Let's see how good your bar mitzvah remembrance is. What is the third verse? Do it in your head, Jeff. Come on. Rani Akara lo yalada Pitzchi Rina v'tzali lo chala Ki rabim b'nei shmo mema Mibnei v'ula amar Adonai. Next verse, come on. Harchivi mekom ohaleich V'yirot mishkanotayich yatu al tach sochi harichi. It's hard, this. Meitzarayich v'teidotayich chazeiki. Next. No? Ki yamin or small tifrotzi. Okay. Okay. V'zarech goyim yirash. Okay. Ki yamin or small tifrotzi. Okay. It comes from Roni Akara.
Such a pedigree here.
Okay, so it's another quote from Yeshayahu. Again, the same idea. It's all about the Mashiach and spreading out. He says here, she'll spread out to the right and to the left, and your offspring shall possess the nations. The picture is of Jerusalem expanding once again. maybe politically as well, bustling with life, children, music, and joy. What a lovely expression. Let's have a look at the rest of the verse. Yaminu small tifrotzi, right and left you'll spread out mightily. Ve'et Hashem ta'aritzi, la'aritz.
To admire.
Yes, to admire, to extol. Very
Yeah.
good, Philip. Yeah. Ve'et Hashem, and Hashem you will extol, you will admire.
Yeah.
How will you do that? Al yad ish,
Then partsy.
through a man.
Okay.
Ben
Ben
Partzi. What does Ben
David.
Partzi mean?
The son.
means it's David
The
Amelech.
son of Peretz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your son is, is
It's
Ben
the
Peretz,
genitive,
right?
it's the genitive.
He's talking about
then
Ben
partsy.
Peretz.
Then partsy is
There's an
genitive.
interesting way that they've got the partsy
Partsi.
and partsy, that there's a sort of connection between the two words within the verse. Yeah. You're spread out, and then Peretz is the
Yes. Well, it's a poem, remember. So
yeah, I know.
yeah. So Al Yad Ish Ben Partzi, so you will extol Hashem. Your borders will spread out. Your Jerusalem will be full of bustling with, what did he say? Life, children, music, and joy. All through. Al Yad means through.
Oh yeah.
Ish Ben Partzi, a man who will be the son of Peretz. Right? So Jeff is a Ben Peretz.
The Mashiach.
So maybe Jeff,
To me.
maybe Jeff's the Mashiach. I'm not so sure. He couldn't even remember his own bar mitzvah. Never mind. Al Yad Ish Ben Partzi, right?
Joyful,
Venagila,
and we will.
and we will rejoice.
Royce.
Yeah. So the beauty, this is a beautiful verse here, even though I wanted to do away with it. Even though I wanted to do away with it because I wanted to go straight from Chatan v'Kala into the last verse, I'll retract because it's a lovely verse. This is a beautiful verse because this is telling us that when Mashiach comes, Jerusalem will be spread out mightily. There will be extolling and
Everything will be
admiration
all
of God,
right.
and we will be happy and rejoicing.
Everything
Now,
will be
tell
all
me that is not happening now. Jerusalem has expanded. Yes. We extol Hashem. There's more learning in Jerusalem today than ever before.
Yeah, but there's
Right,
much division
right.
in the country.
Nismacha v'nagila, are we rejoicing? Yes, we are. I would like to suggest that if this is messianic prediction,
Yeah.
we're here.
We are in.
There's a sort of tenuous,
One second, everyone. Jeff?
tenuous connection between the two verses. Okay, so we've got the bride and the groom celebrating their wedding, and what happens at the end of the chuppah?
They go to Yichud.
No, before that.
They break a glass
Yes, over Jerusalem.
over
And
Jerusalem.
then the next verse is all about Jerusalem.
So there'll be no longer need to break a glass.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
Okay, so the Chatan and Kala, that's a nice idea. Let me say it for the recording because they won't have heard you. Jeff says that there's a connection between the previous verse,
connection. I mean,
wants to make a connection between the Chatan and the Kala and the fact that Jerusalem is rebuilt and is expanded because at the end of the chuppah, we break a glass in memory of the Churban Yerushalayim, and that when this happens, when this verse comes to pass,
there'll be no need.
there'll be no need to break the glass. Nice idea. And then, so I actually think that's a brilliant verse. Actually, I want to retract my.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think it's actually-
One second. What's the question? Is the poet
the narrator. I think
a narrator in this verse?
all of them. I think it's because I think
Yes, because it's moving, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the previous two verses were spoken by Hashem, and now this is almost like an onlooker, as you say, a narrator, saying, "You will spread out mightily." Who's he talking to? It's again, he must be talking here to on various different levels. He must be talking to Jerusalem because it's in the feminine, so it's a city. Bet Hashem Taritzi. And Hashem you will extol through the Ish Ben Partzi, which is a man descended from Peretz, which is an allusion to the Mashiach. And then V'nismecha v'nagila. But it's a beautiful thought, isn't it? That actually that verse in our generation, we've been zocher to see it.
I don't think he's talking to Jerusalem, Johnny. I think he's talking to us, the people.
Yeah, I'm sure he is talking to the people, but I think he's talking to the people through Jerusalem. And I'll tell you why I think that, Jackie, because it's all in the feminine. And an am, a people, is masculine.
But the last sentence is that we shall rejoice and we will be glad.
Yeah, I agree. He's talking about us, but I think the fact that he's talking in the feminine, and of course, all of this poem is in the feminine, isn't it? And we've spoken about it all the way along. Shabbat is feminine, Shechina is feminine, and Ir, city, is feminine. So, I mean, I think we're saying the same thing, really. When you say the city of Jerusalem rejoices, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that the buildings get up and have a dance, does it? It means the inhabitants of Jerusalem rejoice. So we're saying the same thing. It's just a poetic way of saying it. You're absolutely right. We are talking about the people. This is just a poetic way of putting it to maintain the continuity of it all being in a feminine form. And of course, the feminine form is gentler, less harsh. It's got more beauty to it. The Shechina, the bride, these are all soft, warm sort of expressions rather than the harsh masculine verbs. So he's maintaining that continuity of the feminine verbs. And then we're going to talk, we've got a few more minutes yet, so we'll talk about the getting up and turning to the door business in a minute, but let's just do the last verse. So we stand up, if you're not already standing up, and you turn to the door, if you're not already facing the door, and you say the following. Bo'i, what does that mean? Bo'i.
Come.
Yeah.
Come in.
In the feminine. Again, bo'i.
Because
right?
it's Shabbat. Yeah.
Bo'i b'shalom. Come in peace. Who should come in peace?
Ateret ba'ala.
Ateret ba'ala. What's an ateret? Yeah, what's an atara? You got an atara on your talit?
Yes, the thing.
Yeah, the atara of the talit is the decorative collar. The decorative collar. That's called an atara. Okay, so it's the crown. The atara is also the name for the. In case you really want to know this, it's also the name for the glans penis. Okay.
Really?
It's called the atara. Listen, I mean, I'm a Moor.
Thank you. That's a little TMI in the middle of the Lecha Dodi.
Sorry, I'm just telling you. Just telling you that's the same word. You know, ateret ba'ala. Well, listen, and this may well be. We're talking about a husband here. Could be an allusion to this. Anyway, boy b'shalom, come in peace. The crown of who's the crown of the husband?
The wife.
The wife.
Yeah.
The wife.
And who's the husband?
God.
Who's the wife?
Shabbat.
Shabbat. Us. The
Or the
people.
Shechina.
Shabbat. Right. And now there are two versions of the next line.
Yes.
Gam the Nusach Ashkenaz is gam besimcha.
Yeah.
In also with joy.
Yeah.
Uvet sahola.
Salah is to jubilate.
It is indeed to jubilate. Jubilation. What's the other version that some people say here in Nusach Sfar? Instead of gam besimcha, gambarina. Gambarina. Rina means a song. Yeah. Rina means it's a particular type of song.
Joyous.
It's a joyous song. That's right. My daughter Rina is called Rina because she was born on Rosh Chodesh Adar. Misha nichnas Adar marbin besimcha. So why don't I call her Simcha?
Ooh.
No, it's also a girl's name because my mum was called Simcha.
Aye.
And she was still alive at the
And you're
time.
an Ashkenaz.
So we couldn't call her Simcha, so we called her Rina on the basis that Simcha and Rina, exactly
Right.
because of this, and I was aware of that at this stage because I used to daven at that stage in a Hasidic shtibel, a Vishnitzer shtibel, where they said Gamba Rina. So I was aware that Rina and Simcha in this verse are interchangeable. And that's why we called Rina Rina. Okay, otherwise she would have been called Simcha, but my mum was called Simcha. So gam Rina, gam besimcha uvetzala, with gladness, with joyous song, with jubilation.
Och, Amuna.
Toch emunei am segula. Emunei is
the beliefs.
Is of an of. What do they call it when it's an of? A possessive form.
Yeah.
Toch, amongst. Emunei, the faithful of. Am segula. What's an am segula?
The chosen people.
Yeah, we are a treasured people. Am segula. That's got us into so much trouble over the generations.
Absolutely, yeah.
Am segula, the chosen people. Actually, am segula does not mean chosen people. What would a chosen people be in Hebrew?
Am bechora.
No, am hanivchar.
Hanivchar, yeah.
Am hanivchar. But it's not. We're not being chosen. Am segula. We are a treasured nation. Same thing, I guess. But anyway, am segula.
Atabachaltanu.
Sorry, Hannah, say that again.
Atabachaltanu. We say every morning, Shabachalta banu.
That's true. We have been shown. We do say that. Asher bachar banu. Yeah. You're right. But the expression am segula, which is often translated as a chosen people, is not a correct translation. But you are absolutely right. We do say many places Asher bachar banu, who has chosen us. That's true. And then we have the final words, boi kala. Boi kala. Come, bride. Come, bride. And then some people say boi kala, Shabbat malkata. That's you ever never heard that?
Yeah,
before?
I have.
You've got that? Yeah, in Nusach Sfard.
Yeah.
We don't do it here. Some places, Nusach Sfard, certainly where I was davening in the Vishnitz, the Shtibel, I think it's a Hasidic thing. You add on boi kala, come kala, Shabbat malkata. Malkata is Aramaic for Malka, the queen. So come, O bride, the Shabbos queen. Now, so that's the culmination of the whole poem is that we are welcoming the bride. Now, what used to happen back in the day, and we started off with this 4 shiurim ago. This is part 4 of Lecha Dodi. The very first one, if you remember, I played you a little video that I made in the courtyard of the Ariz Shul in Sfat, where this song was written. And what I pointed out, if you remember, was that they came out of the shul into the courtyard through the little entranceway and saw the mountains in the west. They went into the fields there because there was it's all built up there now, and there's a cemetery right in front of it. But it was right into the field. They came into the fields, and that is what they did at that point. Our standing up and turning towards the door is symbolic of what they did. They did more than that. They got up, they went through the door into the fields, looked towards the west where the sun was setting, and they welcomed the Shabbat Malkata. They welcomed the Shabbat Queen, actually in the fields, having gone out of the shul. Now, there are some places still today that go out into the courtyard and have a sing-song and a dance there at this last verse. You asked before if we dance here. There are many places, I've seen it. We don't do it here, it happens, but I've seen it. They sing Lecha Dodi, very joyful. They get to that last verse, they go out and they sing and they dance. In recognition of what they did back in Sfat in the 16th century. Notionally,
we're turning around to face the west anyway. Because if the Aram is Mizrah, then we're going to turn around through 180 degrees. Anyway, so we're going to the west.
Yeah. So the question is, are we turning to the door or are we turning to the west? Now, that's a very good question, Frank, because what happens if your door is not in the west?
It isn't.
Our door is not quite in the west, no, because our Aron Kodesh is skewy. Really, that's west. That's southwest.
That doesn't make sense to hang it to a brick wall.
Well, exactly. Well, I don't know. It depends. So there's...
In my factual limits, they don't turn...
Because they're facing... They don't turn around because they're already facing towards Yerushalayim, maybe? Or are they facing west already? Okay, let me tell you, I looked this up. I looked this up because it interested me a lot about the standing up and turning around business. So I looked it up and I got a few notes here. So there is a various different. There it is. This is my one here. There are various different customs. Okay. Now the earliest custom was the Kabbalists of Tzvat, like we've said, the Ariz custom, which is described in a sefer called Shah HaKavanot, which was written by somebody you'll have heard of, Rabbi Chaim Vital. Sure, you've heard of Rabbi Chaim Vital. He wrote this, and he says that when they reached the final stanza of Lecha Dodi, Boi v'Shalom, they would turn westward and say Boi Kala, to greet, and he writes, not to greet the Shabbat, not to greet the Sabbath bride, something else which is feminine, the Shekhinah. He talks about, in his Sefer, to greet the Shekhinah, which, according to Kabbalah, descends from the west at the onset of Shabbat. The Shekhinah comes, as it were, whatever this means, inverted commas, in person from the west as the sun sets. And you can. The allegory is that, as the sun sets, it brings with it, where does the sun come from? Comes from up there, right? It brings with it the Shekhinah into our homes for the Shabbat. It's a beautiful picture. If you picture this idea of the Shekhinah arriving on, almost sort of riding the sun. As the sun sets, the Shekhinah's there, hops off the sun, and it joins us. So according to Rav Chaim Vital, when we say Boi Kala and we bow down, we're actually bowing down to the Shekhinah, which makes sense, doesn't it? If it's the Shabbat queen and it's it also makes sense because you do bow. You are allowed to bow to a human queen, as it were, and it certainly can bow to the Shabbat queen. But he says Shara Kavanot talks about greeting the Shabbat queen with the Shekhinah. So that was the earliest custom. Okay, so the earliest custom was not about facing the door; it was about facing the west. Now, it so happened that the door was in the west because that's the way it was there. Now, what about facing the door? Now, I've always thought a bit like Frank. In our shul here, as you know, this is my seat here, this end seat here. Right? If I was to turn around 380 degrees, I'm facing the Kiddush hall. Right? I'm not facing the door.
There's a door there.
There is a door there, but it's not the door, is it? The Shabbat Hamalkah is going to come in the main door, which is over there. So I do not turn around 180 degrees. I turn through 90 degrees and I face the door. Because our shul is, all seats are facing different ways, some people will be turning around and facing all sorts of different ways. So the original minhag was not to face the door, but was to face the west. So how did facing the door come? So as Kabbalat Shabbat moved from the fields into shul, right? Remember, we said originally Kabbalat Shabbat at this point is in the fields. So they preserved this symbolic idea of going out, as we said earlier, by facing the door to welcome the queen through the door. I suppose it's a bit like, you've got a guest coming. You either go out of the door to meet your guest and bring them in, or you wait for them at the door, facing the door, waiting for them to come in on their own. It's a bit like what we said about it just occurred to me. Remember a few weeks ago, we spoke about the idea of the Ashkenazim and the Sephardim, the way they do their bedecking, right? It's the same sort of idea in a way. The Ashkenazim do their bedecking, and then they go onto the chuppah and they wait for the Kala, the queen Kala, to come. Whereas the Sephardim go out to meet it. The same sort of idea. So as it moved into the shul, the symbolism of moving into the fields was taken on towards the door. Now, later authorities, when I say later, I mean after Reb Chaim Vital, you've got people like the Mishnah Brura, which was early 20th century, says, that was the Chavetz Chaim wrote the Mishnah Brura, He wrote, it's customary to turn toward the door and say Boi Kala as if to greet the Shabbat queen who is entering. So by the time it gets to the Mishnah Brura, it's sort of morphed into from in the fields to the west to in the shul towards the door to welcome the queen.
Can I ask you a question? And it's a serious question. Actually,
Okay.
believe it or not. Isn't this banalizing marriage a bit?
Banalizing? You mean
Yes.
making it banal?
Yeah. Why? Because you do it every week.
No.
You get married every week.
Nah.
I don't know about you. I mean, no, that's a fair question. It's a fair question. I don't know about you, but every Shabbat, and certainly was when I was working full time, that's for sure. As Shabbat came
Wait a
in,
minute, you're not working full time now.
well, not working like I was working those days, but every Shabbat you would feel, and I still feel, wow, Baruch Hashem, it's Shabbat.
The pleasure.
All feel that.
Rejuvenating.
Yeah. Thank
So,
God.
so I don't think it's banal. What did you say it was? Banalizing. I've never heard of that. But didn't know you could
No.
make banal into a verb.
Oh, yes, you can.
To banalize. Okay. No, Paul's not
You know,
impressed with
the
that.
S in
What do you
America
think,
with the-
Paul? Do
with
you think
the-
that's a real word? He's made it up.
Made it up.
Made it up. Okay.
Who? I made it up.
Yeah, we think you made that up. Okay, we'll look it up. We'll look it up. We'll look it up.
Johnny, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, one second. Let's just finish this point,
Okay.
Jackie. So I don't think it's banalizing or whatever it is. I think actually,
We see, ain't it?
if
The opposite.
anything, I
The
don't know. I'm
opposite.
only speaking for myself now. If anything, I feel that this part of Shabbat, when we sing Lecha Dodi, and particularly when we get to the end and we say Boi Kala, for me, it has incredible meaning every week. No, I don't think that's. I don't feel that. I mean,
Okay.
maybe some people do, but I mean, there are many prayers that we say that I say that I don't really relate to every time, but I think I probably relate to Lecha Dodi and Boi Kala more than most prayers. That's how I feel. I don't know how everybody.
100%.
Yeah, you feel the same. What did you want to say, Jackie?
You know, you say you bow to the door, we bow to the west. Now, a lot of people turn around and bow the opposite way as well. And I
Okay.
think that's wrong.
Coming to that
sorry.
right now. So far we've got bowing to the west. We've got now the Mishnah Brura says bowing to the door because we've come inside. But what if the door's not at the back? Right? What if the door's at the side? Okay, of the shul. Happen. Right? So there are three ways of doing it. You can either face west and say the Shekhinah. Shekhinah don't need a door. Right? Okay, just to interrupt. Banalizing is a valid form of a verb. It is the British English spelling of the present participle and gerund, whatever that means, of the verb banalize, or the American English spelling banalize with a Z. The verb means to make something appear ordinary, trivial, or commonplace.
Right.
I stand corrected. And Paul, you also stand corrected. Okay.
And I stand corrected.
Listen, it's like a clock that stops. Twice a day it's correct. Every now and again, Philip will be right. Okay. Well done, Philip. Well done. Okay. So you can face the west if the door's not at the west and it's in the side. You can face the west and consider that you're welcoming the Shekhinah. Shekhinah doesn't need a door. If you feel that you're welcoming the Queen, then you need a door. So you can face the door even if it's not at the back. Or and this is what who was saying that in their shul they don't, your son's shul, and if some places don't turn around at all and continue to face towards Yerushalayim, wherever that is, because as we know from here, a lot of this is all about the rebuilding of Jerusalem. Okay, so it seems that the facing the door business is actually a much later European custom as opposed to facing the west, which was the original Sfat custom. Yeah, so that's the practical. Right, now, one second. Okay, go on, Hannah, then I'll come back to the Jackie's question.
Would it be that the weather had some influence In Europe in the winter, it's very cold and snowy in the winter to go out and start dancing. In Tzvat, in winter, it also sometimes, although less, becomes very cold and snowy. So sometimes maybe even the Hasidim, were encouraged to stay indoors and not go out in the cold.
Well, we know the Mishnah Brura who says that we turn towards the door. Mishnah Brura came from
Europe. No, Israel. Europe.
Where did he come from?
The Chafetz Chaim?
Yeah.
From Lita.
Radin in Poland.
Radin, yeah. But it's Lita.
Yeah, I bet it's cold there in the winter. So he was not going out.
So they stayed inside.
Yeah.
And
so let me deal with Jackie's problem, and then we'll end there. And that is the two bows. You're quite right, Jackie. We do many people do the two bows. You bow the first boi kala, you bow towards the door, and then you turn and you bow again. Now, the symbolism is, think about this. If you are standing at the side at a wedding and the kala comes, let's say, from your right towards the chuppah, you turn to look at the kala, and what do? You follow her, don't you? And that's the idea here. The kala comes in, we bow as the kala enters, we follow her in, and when she reaches her place, i.e. amongst us, we bow again towards her. That's the symbolism of the two bows. One towards the door as we greet her, and one as she reaches her place. The Shabbat is now in place. The Shabbat is here. And what do we say immediately after this last verse? Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat, which is effectively the acceptance of Shabbat. So it works beautifully. The symbolism is beautiful. It gives you the goosebumps to even think about this, right? You've gone out into the field, or you've turned towards the door.
This was all put together by Rabbi El-Kabatz.
Yeah. And you've looked towards the door and you've said, Boi b'shalom. Come in peace, Shabbat. Come, Shabbat. You are the queen. The Shabbat opens the door. What do you see when you've not seen the Kala, right? You're there at the wedding. You haven't gone to the B'decken, right? And you get your first glimpse of the Kala, who looks beautiful in her splendid white dress. And she's all, all oishkishbreutz there, right? And what do you think? What's the first thing you think? Wow. And that's the bow. The bow is a wow, right? When we see the Kala, the Shabbat come in through the door, we bow, and we have that feeling. We have that feeling of wonderment, of Baruch Hashem. What a beautiful Kala! We follow her with our eyes to her place in the shul. She gets to her place, and we bow again in recognition of Shabbat. And immediately then we say Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat. Shabbat is then here.
It's come to the men's section.
But I can feel a but coming on.
Because sadly,
Ian.
if you have a baby, you completely break that whole spirit, that whole moment.
Isn't that the point?
Which is the point of why the Avelim can't be in there. You're right. You're absolutely right. It does break that moment when you have to say Nichum Avelim, because that moment is it's a really special moment. Just talking about it now is, it's a very spiritual thing. Okay, so that's I think that we've come to the end of Lecha Dodi. We've welcomed the Shabbat, and I think for me, having learned this over the last few weeks, it certainly has. I would say enhanced my reading of Lecha Dodi. I have to say that for me, as I said earlier on, Kabbalat Shabbat is my most favorite of the services. And the Lecha Dodi is the peak. Whatever tune it is, I'm not a tuneful person, as you know, but the whole idea, and I must say, when I went to Svat with my grandson, and I did that little video a couple of years ago, it was really, really something. I really felt a big spiritual kick there. I'd recommend that next time you're going to Sfat, go into that shul, go into the shul, and then come out through the gate and look at those hills. It's a really magical moment, and I think this is a magical moment in the week. And I don't think it banalizes it at all. I think on the contrary, I think it's an absolutely uplifting part of the week, and it takes us into Shabbat beautifully.
Johnny, can I just say to you, thank you very much, because I always used to sing Lecha Dodi, took it for granted. Now it means so much more to me because I really understand it.
Great. That is exactly the point of what we're doing, and like all the things, I am the biggest beneficiary of all of us because I'm the one that's having to prepare it, and I'm the one that learns the most. So I thank you as well for being part of this. We'll decide next week what we're going to do next.
Johnny,
yes,
I wanted to add one thing.
Yeah.
The Kabbalists up in Tzvat, by the way, when they do the ending Bo'i Kala at the end, they turn in all directions. They're welcoming the Shekhinah from all directions, and they're also bowing to each other.
Oh, that's interesting. So they're bowing to each other. So they're welcoming people as well. Now that's interesting.
Yes.
Let's just spend just a second or two on that, because one of the most unpleasant experiences of my life was when I was a student in London, and I went to, I won't say which community it was, and I went to a shul on a Friday night, and I went there for a long time, and nobody spoke to me. Nobody welcomed me. Nobody spoke to me. I was a student on my own. And there are many times when I sat, because I was in a house full of students I was the only Shomer Shabbos. So not many times, but there were times when I sat on my own on a Friday night, and it was pretty miserable. Pretty miserable. And it wasn't in Finchley, no. Okay.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
You need to be careful. These shiurim might raise your Kabbalah spirituality threshold.
You're right. I'll be careful.